All right, so we are back. Yes, I'm still in Orlando, Florida. I'm in my bedroom, a couple of days away from Most Valuable Prospects number 6. Hope you guys tune in on DAZN Live this Friday. But today, I'm still perplexed by Ryan Garcia. I'm still trying to figure out what he is, who he is, and what it is that he wants to do with his fight career. Because after the massive win and the whole Devin Haney saga, the way he performed, the way the lead up was, now with everything kind of coming back down to reality, the euphoria of that fight starting to dissipate a bit, I think we're going to get a little bit more of the behind the scenes look at who and what Ryan Garcia is. And today, he went on the Patrick Bet David podcast and absolutely took the gun out and started shooting on Logan Paul and KSI over their prime drink, and essentially doubled down on why he thinks both of them are fake. And I want to see, again, where's the line between Ryan trolling and Ryan being Ryan? I'm still trying to figure that out, and I hope this podcast gives me a little bit of that, because yes, I want to talk about him fighting, whether it's Fundora or Tank again, or Errol Spence, or Pitbull Cruz, like whoever that's going to be coming up, and we'll definitely make videos on that. But I feel like we have to address this because Ryan is going off on Logan and KSI once again, and I have to figure out, is this him still trolling, or is this a little bit more than that? Where does the trolling end and the real Ryan Garcia begin? And what is his real problem with Logan Paul and KSI? Breakdown, let's go.
Yeah, but the idea of...
I know it seems like, whoa, how can you do that? But I've done it already. I was making music while I was training for this fight. I did a deal with Universal where I have, distribution rights through my record label, We Don't Miss Records. I just dropped a song. I'm about to go on tour. Like, I'm doing this all while I'm training. And then creating a narrative for the fight. I'm doing a bunch of stuff all at once, and doing investments, and doing podcasts. I was doing that all while training. I could just do a lot of things. I'm just like that.
Doing that amount of stuff is pretty insane, to be honest. Like, having a bunch of stuff to do while also going into the biggest fight of your life, it has to be commended that Ryan was able to balance it all, but also he kind of put that same pressure on himself by doing all of those things. But I talked about this with Sensei on the Breakdown. Shout out the Breakdown Pod. Go listen. It almost felt like Ryan was stacking the deck against him, at least before the fight, to say, well, if I lost, here are the reasons why. And a great that's done that before is John Jones, who would party all week leading up to his title fights. That way he gave himself an ingrained excuse. If he got beat, that was the reason why. But turns out it actually kind of does the opposite and allows, in John's case, him to fight freely in the octagon. And for Ryan's case, him to fight with no pressure in the ring. Worked out perfectly. Him drinking every night and doing the things he was doing, staying up late, being on Twitter Spaces and doing all that, and recording a song, whatever it was. Turned out it actually allowed him to be more of himself and free in the ring, which is one of the craziest things about combat sports. It is the people flipping all of the narratives of what you're supposed to do to be an athlete on its head and still being successful. And you do see that from some of the greats of all time in other sports too. Like Michael Jordan used to go and play golf, like 18 holes of golf after practice, come back the next day and still be whipping people's ass, or go into a game after smoking cigars and drinking beer and be one of the greatest basketball players ever. Sometimes people with freak athletic ability or immense skill in a specific sport, what they do just doesn't make sense, yet they're still able to be successful. All right, so here's Ryan talking about the way he promoted the fight and what made him do it. This is the juice here. No pause, no Diddy, none of that. This is exactly what we want to see. Why did he act the way he acted, and what was the thinking behind it?
What got you to say, I'm going to take a complete different approach with marketing this fight?
Well, it was just basically, it kept on unraveling itself. If I'm being quite honest, it was more of a, it wasn't so much like my ideas, like more of just wisdom coming from God, and then I just made adjustments as I went. Like, I would have these strong, I guess, feelings or just urges, like from like nicks from the Holy Spirit to do this, do that, do this, do that, and then like God always cleaned up everything that I was doing, because I felt like on the one side there was like I had the enemy pushing me to do certain things, and then I had God, and then it was just like no matter what happened, God always made it right. So I would have to give all the credit to God and the wisdom of God and the Holy Spirit, for sure.
I don't know what that means. We got no clarity on what the that's supposed to mean. But obviously he feels, and again, this is why I don't think that Ryan he can try to tell people that he was trolling, and maybe some of the things he was doing, like the drinking of the beer or in front of Devin, acting a bit strange, like, getting in his face and being like, where's your mom and all that stuff. Maybe that was trolling, but the specific ways in which he acted, it's hard for me to believe that none of that was real, because he genuinely in his world believes that God has bestowed him a path to walk on to act a certain way for his fight, or to say certain things, or to, like he said, clean up the things where he maybe misstepped, which I don't know what that means, but he seems like this is him. Granted, again, some of that may be trolling, but it just seems like this is who Ryan is. Like, he is this guy, and for the first time in front of the world, he gets to kind of let loose the reins a little bit and not be as buttoned up. And again, I've seen this before. I've seen this in MMA with John Jones, where he was very quiet on his come up to the title and always speaking about, Lord and religious stuff. And he still does that, but there was a side of him you didn't see until he grabbed that belt and got some money and started going out and partying and, the whole thing we know about John Jones. Run down the list of the things he's done. And again, when people saw that, it was a bad look, but then John embraced it. And people almost loved him more for it. In general, fans like their fighters to be a little crazy. Think of the most popular ones in sports. Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, even Muhammad Ali. People thought, especially in the Sonny Liston fight, that he was losing his mind a bit. Remember, they gave him a psychiatric evaluation in the pre-fight, thinking, oh my God. And I think Ryan may have taken some pages out of that book, but the point being, people are so enthralled with Ryan Garcia right now that they are willing to look past some of the borderline, what are you doing? This is an overstep, and you shouldn't say these things if you don't have necessary proof for it. To accept the fact that whether he's trolling or not, they like this version of it.
Events on what happened, during this is a timeline here. Let's go through some of it. So Ryan Garcia starts beef with Jake Paul.
The Jake Paul stuff, I can say absolutely, in my opinion, a troll. Him and Jake been friends for way too long. I got fooled on that one. I will admit that one, because when it happened, I was like, this don't make a lot of sense, but okay, Ryan's a little out there right now, so maybe he's cutting all ties with everyone. That one I got fooled with. I think him and Jake are still fairly cool.
Then Ryan Garcia slams Logan Paul's prime drink. Ryan Garcia accuses Victor Conte, Devin Haney of cheating. Then Ryan Garcia addresses prediction of Baltimore Bridge collapsing. Then Ryan Garcia tweets.
I shouldn't laugh about this one because it's obviously a bad situation. The Baltimore Bridge collapsing was terrible and obviously awful situation for everybody involved. But Ryan did not predict that the Baltimore Bridge was going to collapse. He took credit for predicting it after the fact, and then when people were like, "Yo, no, you didn't predict that," he was like, "Well, I never said. You'll have to go through. It was a wild time, but you'll have to go through on Twitter." Ryan absolutely 100% did not predict that happening, but then absolutely acted like he did.
The kids, did you actually have videos of kids, things that
I actually do. I do have videos.
You have videos?
Yes, we have videos.
Who has seen them? Who have you shown them to?
The guy Jaco. He has them. We're going to go to Congress with it.
Has anybody else here seen them? Have you guys seen the videos?
No, they have not seen
You guys have never seen the videos?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you've not shown it to anybody else. It's just you and him that have.
Yeah.
Now, is it something you have access to or he has access to?
We both do.
You both have access to. Okay. Why haven't you shown it yet? If you have those videos?
I'm just not going to put that on the internet. And then there's also other people that have videos, and they're victims. But I'm not going to put that on the internet. That's disgusting.
How high are some of these people? Is it because these guys are higher up, powerful people that you don't expose them?
Well, I mean, everything's in people's faces. You don't got to look too far.
So we're not going to get into super weeds here because that's the kind of speculation that can get you into trouble without really knowing any of the facts here. What I'll say is I don't know how much Ryan is embellishing here because he says, I've seen evidence of child trafficking. And again, anybody with a brain knows that that is horrible shit, and we all support. If there's evidence of child trafficking, which is the worst of the worst of the worst crimes. It is bury them under the jail, whoever is involved. And yeah, we all support Ryan doing what's necessary to get that taken care of if he has a means to do that. The reason people asked for proof was because Ryan said he was going to show the proof to people. It wasn't because we were like, yeah, let's see all that on the internet. No one was, I don't think, ever asking for that. It was just that Ryan was saying, hey, I have proof of this that I'm going to show, and then didn't, and that was what made people go, yeah, we don't know if you're telling the truth. Which also, again, in my opinion, wasn't a means to build a fight, at least not in anybody's sane opinion, to be talking about that as a way to build a fight. Again, if it's something close to your heart and you want to speak about it, awesome, use your platform. But if Ryan has evidence of these things, then fair play. Go to whoever you think is the authority that's going to be able to get this stuff taken care of, and I hope that happens. So if Ryan has any hand in helping bring awareness to or shutting down child trafficking, we're all on board.
How do you think he's taking that loss, knowing you didn't prepare as much as he did for the fight?
Oh, that's, I mean, I don't know how he feels. I mean, obviously, like, anybody who was really trying to pay attention was could obviously see me training and looking sharp. I mean, you can't look that sharp without training. That's just it's impossible. So, people, that's on them. They underestimated me because of social media. When you can make anything look a certain way on social media.
To me, it's odd to go, people underestimated me because of social media, when Ryan's, apparently his entire goal was to get people to underestimate him using social media. I underestimated Ryan because, like most people, the things he was doing weren't just the troll, but the actual things that look, not just whatever the line is between troll and real life here, but the drinking and the things. I didn't think he was going to be able to handle that and go into a world championship fight against a top 5 pound for pound guy. It was also an issue of, in my mind, skill, where Ryan relies on really 1 or 2 things that he is damn good at, and that Devin, having the boxing IQ that we'd all seen him to potentially have and use in past fights, would not allow himself to be caught in positions to be flat out dominated the way he was. But I was wrong. So I guess a part of that is, we underestimated him because of social media, but also it was kind of a totality of everything. I'll say this, if Ryan is a prophet, it is for one specific thing that he said, and I will give him all the credit for this. There was a moment in, I don't remember what press conference it was, trying to look back on everything, but he said, I'm going to give Devin's dad, Bill, 3 opportunities to stop this fight. And when I do, after that 3rd one, I'm going to look over to him and say, save your son. Something like that. It was very much like that war mode, coming in for the kill, right? The whole thing he was doing. At the time, it was like, again, how do you really believe any of that with what's going on with Ryan? Whatever. He was right about this, and it happened during the fight. He knocked Devin down 3 times. Should have been more, but still. And after that last one he did, he looked at Bill and was like, Bill, come and get your boy. That shit right there, you want to talk about, the spiritual, prophetic, whatever, that I can understand. An athlete having premonitions or visualizing what's about to happen in their fight, that 100% came to fruition for Ryan Garcia. That's prophetic.
How different was it fighting, like you getting hit by Devin, undefeated, you got hit by Tank? What's the difference on the way you felt Haney's hit against Tank?
Well, Haney actually caught me. Gervonta, I didn't really... It wasn't a hard fight. I was just weak. That's not a hard fight for me. I will beat Gervonta Davis worse than I beat Devin Haney. Devin Haney's a harder fight than Gervonta.
Wow. Okay. This is interesting. And again, when you're talking about Ryan, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, because what's actually being said, is it because he's on the high of just beating Devin Haney, or he feels he's a good matchup for Gervonta Davis? Because Ryan, in retrospect, was a bad matchup for Devin because of the way Devin fought. Devin is susceptible to the left hook. We've seen that with Linares, and Ryan stuck it on him. Devin decided he wanted to stay right in front of Ryan, which I thought was insane, but he did over and over and over. And yes, the weight drained Ryan in the Tank fight. Not only the weight drain, but also the rehydration clause that Ryan was under in that fight didn't allow him to absorb shots the same way as he did in the Devin fight, and also probably didn't allow him to be himself offensively in the same way he was in the Devin fight. Being able to stand there in the pocket, feel like himself in there, and have the timing, speed, power, all the stuff he wants. But as far as the fight itself goes, I want to hear why Ryan thinks that before I give my opinion, though.
I know if he's like, they're going to go crazy right here, but at the end of the day, I've proved them wrong before. At the end of the day, you guys could pull up the picture of me, how I look for a Tank fight and how I look for Devin Haney fight. They knew what they were doing, and he will never fight me at 145, so it doesn't really matter. And that's why he was trying to text me all nice and tweet me, "Oh, Ryan, I'll give you my real number now. Let's go to the club. I hung out with P. Diddy, and now I want to hang out with you." Like, bro, relax.
Tank is saying this. I saw that.
Yeah, you seen that.
Did you guys speak after the fight? Like, did he call you to congratulate you or no?
He tried to go out with me. Pause.
I did see that on Twitter. Tank was blowing up Ryan, talking about, let's get a drink, and it was holding like a Bud Light or whatever. It was pretty funny, dude. But Ryan did what he should have done in that moment. He should have egoed Tank after the way Tank treated him after their fight, where Tank gave him a fake number when Ryan was trying to be cool with him. I like this little rivalry back and forth. But again, I'm interested, like, why, outside of the weight cut, why does Ryan think he's a better matchup for Tank? Does he think because Tank is sometimes a lack of a volume fighter that allows Ryan to win that fight? Because Tank is smaller, and Ryan feels that if he hits him at a full weight, Tank won't be able to take those punches. Because Tank has fought at 140 before. He fought Mario Barrios there and still had power at that weight class. But what Ryan does well is a bit nullified by what Tank does well. Ryan likes to pressure guys, step on their toes, push them back, and obviously use that explosiveness, that power on the front foot to bully guys. Like Ryan does. He likes to bully guys a bit. Tank had that neutralizer in his left hand. He was able to, off his back foot, time Ryan, get underneath, bang the left hand over the top, drop him with that. And then the body shot that, again, you can contribute to the weight cut. Also, I think Ryan made a business decision and said, F this, I'm done. I don't know if I would favor Ryan yet, but I would give him way more of a chance against Gervonta Davis at 144 than I gave him at 135. All right, so we've kind of gotten the fight stuff out of the way. Now I want to talk about this beef that Ryan still has with Logan Paul, KSI, Prime, whatever's going on there. Listen, I've been on record in saying that Prime is just a weirdly marketed drink, what it says it does versus what it really does. But that's whatever. I mean, most drinks, I guess, do that to a certain degree. It's not some plan from Satan himself to take over the minds of the youth. It might not be a great drink, but I want to hear why Ryan really despises these two, because it sounds like in every time their name is mentioned, he absolutely hates these dudes. I need to see why. Let's take a listen.
And I know you take shots at Prime. Let me tell you, what was Prime's top line revenue last year? Type in Prime top line revenue 2023.
Just let me cook. I'm gonna just.
Do you know what the number is?
No, but we're gonna lower it. We're gonna lower it.
You're gonna lower it? Okay, let's see it.
All you have to do is keep on bashing them every.
Dog, Ryan is a grade A tier 1 hater, dude. Y'all can call me a hater on Prime. I'm not trying to affect their freaking top line sales number. I'm just telling the truth about what's in the drink.
Yeah, I'm not gonna leave it all. I'm not. My
Really?
finger will be. I swear, I'm gonna be on their neck this whole time.
Okay, so let's see what you're gonna do here.
Prime tastes like shit.
Check this
They
out.
got a class lawsuit action over their company. They
A class lawsuit action. That man don't even care what it is. He don't care that it's a class action lawsuit. He don't know what that means, but he's just gonna say that shit.
horrible chemicals. Do not drink it.
I'm not gonna front. I do not like it at all.
Let's read
I drank it one
Energy
time.
drink company Prime,
I'm a mean guy, dude. I don't care. Fuck Logan
co-founded
Paul.
by KSI.
All right, well, Ryan's saying don't drink it. It's got bad chemicals in it. And again, I don't know the formula of Prime and none of that. But Ryan also, like 2 seconds before that, said this.
Sure, you're going to get a lot of weird calls right now, sponsorships wanting you to do this. Hey, we want to give you a watch.
Yeah, Taco
We
Bell.
want to give you this. We want to give you that.
Moon.
Man said Taco Bell because, of course, they don't have the mystery meat over there. That's all grade A sirloin steak at Taco Bell. Listen, I like Taco Bell. I'm just saying, you can't really say they got bad stuff in there. Everything's got bad stuff in it.
Blue Moon.
Is
And Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
Nobody could do it better than me. I always say I don't do Coke, but I do Coca-Cola.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. How are you going to... Nothing against Coca-Cola, nothing. But you got to be a little consistent. Just say, like, Ryan's saying, oh, it's got bad chemicals in Prime, and maybe he's right. But then you can't go in the same sentence or before that and hold up the can of Coke and say, yeah, bro, I'll drink this. It's Coca-Cola. Drink that, not anymore, but used to actually have trace amounts of cocaine in it. And yes, besides the aspartame and other ingredients that make Coke not the best drink for you, it's definitely worse for you than most hydration drinks.
Great.
so if
Who
I'm
cares about money, bro? These dudes are fucking whack.
no, but you want to make money.
No,
the
but
next
these
fight.
dudes are whack.
So
bro.
what's
I
your
don't
problem
care
with
how
Logan and KSI? What's your issue
They're
with those
leechers,
guys?
man. They don't stand for nothing, bro. They're puppets and nothing in the day. I don't like people like that.
You think Logan and
Definitely a
KSI or
puppet.
Jake Paul?
No, Jake is the homie. Jake is a truth speaker.
Yeah.
I like guys that tell the truth amongst the money, anything.
Right.
I make a lot of money, but I don't care. Boom. Cancel me. You can't cancel me for telling the truth. These dudes are culture vultures. These dudes are whack. These dudes are just...
Be specific. Why do you say that?
Damn, I mean, again, jeez. This man, Ryan Garcia, is throwing the book at them. And again, Ryan is taking aim at both guys, right? He's called KSI, KS Lies, and obviously he's not a big fan of Logan. What I think is happening is that KSI is getting lumped in with Logan as a culture vulture, as whack, as, all these things. And again, Logan takes a lot of the heat here because of the stuff he's done in the past that I've criticized and will stand by and say those were bad things that Logan's done and stupid things. But I don't know what the culture vulture thing, Ryan, means. Maybe he'll explain in a second. But he clearly just doesn't like Logan. And maybe KSI because KSI is associated with Logan, but also is a good friend of Jake's and I think has been for a long time. And you do see this sentiment about people when they're around Logan versus when they're around Jake. It is kind of turned to say Jake is the more real one, the non-corporate entity one, the one that will just speak his mind and not necessarily worry about what it looks like as the brand Jake Paul. I think a lot of people see Logan as a brand more than they see him as a person. I think Ryan is speaking to that a little bit. But again, I don't know what this has to do with the drink.
They're soft, man. They will never, like, I've been talking about sex trafficking, and they always want to bash me on it, but that's a real problem in the whole world. That's not even a debate, and they never say anything about it. To me, that screams coward, bro. Why would, well, it's not gonna hurt your brand to speak for the kids, and then you want to bash the man that is speaking for the kids. These dudes are cowards. These dudes are demons in the flesh. Like, these dudes are they're going headed nowhere. That money ain't gonna go nowhere but the grave, brother.
It seems like his big problem is, I mean, we talked about it on the channel months back. He got upset that they were talking about Ryan's antics on, I think it was on Impulsive, and they both were like, yeah, Ryan's a bit out there. Even Logan was like, oh yeah, he's a flat earther. They were saying that the things that Ryan was doing that were completely out of character for the guy that Logan knew and the people that had spoken to Ryan and been around him before, even Jake said were out of character, were out of character. And the thing that Ryan does that I think is completely out of bounds is when he says things like the child trafficking stuff that everyone can get on board with and say is a bad thing, needs to be investigated, needs to be brought to its justice and its complete and utter end. But when he speaks in such general terms, and again, even on this podcast, saying that he experienced things, but no, he saw things, but maybe he didn't, and I saw it on this video, and my spirit told me that, people just have more questions for him to be specific. He takes that as an attack on his character and says, well, if you're not believing me, then you support it. And that's not, I don't think, what anybody's trying to do. I think that he has divided a wall between people that believe him, and those people are the only supporters of bringing these injustices to an end, and the people that have more questions or think he might be a little bit out there to be like, y'all don't believe in your demons. He does it again. He called them demons in the flesh. He's a little out of bounds for that, but the man's got his own opinion about people, and I guess that's just what it's going to be. But he has gone full hater mode, which I think is hilarious. He's like, man, I'm taking the whole company down because their drink sucks.
What was Logan and them coming at you trying to talk crap about you about with the kids?
They basically try to angle it where I was using that to sell pay-per-views. Like, bro, that's, if anything, I lost pay-per-views for speaking like that. That's what I'm saying. They're weirdos. Like, that's a weird individual. Like, how about you say, let me look into it, and if it's true, then dang, we should do something about it. And then he's like, he never dropped the evidence. He sounds like bots on Twitter.
He does.
Like, bro, just shut the fuck up, right? This is a real situation. Put your grown man pants on. And how about you help talk about it? Because you joined every movement you thought was plausible for your platform. He used the whole black empowerment movement, what happened with George Floyd, for his benefit. I'm a white man, and I'm going to stand up and say, you know, I have my white privilege.
It's true.
And I'm sorry. And then he got a lot of love for that, right?
Of course. Cause
I know what video he's talking about with Logan. That impression just kills me. Again, when he talks about him selling the fight and the child trafficking stuff, and I hate to keep going back to it, it was all blended together. And what people like Logan and even myself, Mike Malek had said the same thing. We looked at it and went, dude, we don't know any of this stuff to what you're saying, how much you know about it, or how much you're exaggerating or not exaggerating, or what the truth is and where it lies. But it's intermixed with you talking about the fight and you talking about the Baltimore Bridge that you definitely didn't predict happening, but tried to claim you did, and the exalted by God stuff and the prophetic whatever, and just all this stuff blended together. It's hard to separate any of it. And when you try to, that's when Ryan would get a little upset and say, oh, no, you're not supporting, so you must be a devil worshiper or a pedo and all that. And he's out in public yelling it at random people. Like, that stuff, I gotta, it's not gonna sound nice, but I have to agree with Logan on, because it's like, you can't just say, if you don't believe 100% of what I'm saying, when I'm saying it, and that it's fully true without having any sort of proof of anything that I say, then you are against me in all of it, and you're all supporting sex trafficking and all this stuff. It's like, no, dude, it's not how this works. But again, I think, honestly, this just comes down more to Ryan got upset that Logan went on his podcast and talked about it, and decided it was a full-on attack on Logan at that point. And maybe they weren't even that cool before, I don't know. But then, yeah, this stuff where he's talking about Logan picking and choosing when he wants to support something, it's been said about Logan before, and again, people can use their platform however they want, but that impression was fucking funny.
He swears that he knows it all. He swears about evolution. Like, the only thing he says to me is, I said one time when I was 21 years old, 20 years old, the flat earth is real. Like, bro, I was like trolling a little bit. Like, obviously I was just like, throwing that out there. But this,
I was a little bit trolling about saying I believe that the earth was flat. And it may still be, but I'm just kind of half trolling. Maybe it is. That honestly, that sentence right there sums up Ryan Garcia.
he's a weirdo.
Would you fight him?
I'd do worse. I'd do worse than him.
If it was a boxing match,
I will destroy Logan Paul. If he couldn't knock out Floyd Mayweather, that was 3 times smaller than him, he's not gonna knock me out. I will destroy Logan Paul, that heavyweight.
Where's he sitting at? What's his weight?
It don't matter. I've already sparred him. He didn't hurt me once, and he was way bigger than me, and I was whooping his ass.
How long ago was this?
Long ass time ago. I was very small. He's like 180.
Rob, type in Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, this is something 100% Logan's going to respond to. 1,000%. Because I agree with Ryan. Ryan in a boxing ring will do nasty things to Logan, will outbox and beat up Logan Paul in a boxing ring. But if we're talking about a fight, without the boxing gloves on, which I know Logan's going to pivot to, which he should, Logan would maul Ryan Garcia. Mark my words, when Logan responds to this, he's absolutely going to mention. But as far as today's video, listen, Ryan Garcia still is hovering that line between trolling and reality. What's real, what's not. I honestly don't know if I gained many more answers. If anything, I'm still of the mindset that he was using certain opportunities to troll, but for the most part, believed in what he was doing. And like he said, it was bestowed to him and he was led by God. I think he showed the world for the first time who he is, and maybe he cranked it up a little bit, but he came out of his shell and showed everyone the real Ryan Garcia. He's flawed, yes. He says moronic things and does odd things. But people have embraced him. One, because obviously he's talking about important things like child trafficking, but also because in combat sports, we love nothing more than for our fighters to be a little crazy. And also, this whole thing with Logan Paul and Ryan and KSI, I have a feeling it's just getting started. And this next month or so with them going back and forth is going to be very interesting. But as far as Ryan's next moves, is it going to be Gervonta? Is it going to be Fundora? Is it going to be Errol Spence? Is it going to be Conor Benn? Is it going to be Pitbull Cruz? Is it going to be doing music on tour? Giorgio Armani? I don't have those answers, but right now the world is his oyster. So, Ryan Garcia, what happens next? I guess we'll find out.